Hello students, welcome back to NEET World channel. This is Narayani, I am your botany educator. So today in this session we are going to discussing about the first kingdom, Monera. So yesterday we studied about the classifications, biological classifications. The most widely accepted classification is RH Whittaker classification, right? So let's discuss the first kingdom of classification, that is Monera. So before that I would like to announce very important news for you all of you. So here the next batch is going to start from 15th August onwards, and this offer is very limited offer. We don't know when it will be closed, so hurry up to grab this opportunity. So what made you this to grab this opportunity, right? So because we are offering affordable price at just rupees 3,333 per month. Yes, if you are really passionate about your dream to become a doctor and to see yourself as a doctor, so we are there for you. So if you are really passionate, this is the best platform for you. So we are giving very affordable price at the rupees of 33333. So what are you going to get benefits by joining in this NEET long term program? So if you are college goers also, we are providing morning batches and also evening batches. So you can access our live plus recording classes if you want to join through online. If you want to come through online, it is present in Narayanguda, Hyderabad. We are having hostel facility also. So don't miss this opportunity. For online people, we are giving just rupees 3,333 per month. Yes, you will get well crafted study material along with this live plus recording sessions, and also one-on-one mentorship will be provided. And we are explaining through the digital panel, so that make you the concept to be understood for you. So plenty of demo classes are available in the YouTube. You can go through of that also. So don't miss this opportunity. If you are really passionate about your dream, this is the best platform for you, because we are giving just rupees 3,333 per month. So, and also for competitive examinations, to secure good rank, if you want to to secure very good rank in your upcoming examination of NEET and EIP set or JE examinations, to do the number of mocks is very important. So we are having our Telegram group. By scanning this QR code, you can access our Telegram group. So what are the benefits by joining in this Telegram group? So you will get daily mocks of biology, chemistry, physics and also mathematics, and freely informing the live class schedules, and also whatever the free resources are there, digitalized materials will be dropped there. And one most important thing is, if you have any doubts, post in that Telegram group. So the concerned lecturers will be, they are clarify all your doubts. So don't miss to join in our Telegram group. So let's start our today's session. So yesterday's session we are discussed about the biological classification. Who made the first move, students? That is Aristotle. He gave the simple system of classification. So he given as plants and animals. He made by the external features, he classified trees, shrubs and herbs, and animals into which are having the blood, which don't have the blood, right? So but it is not considered by the scientific community. Then after that, the proper classification was accepted by Carolus Linnaeus in 1735. So he given the two kingdom classification, that is Plantae and Animalia, right? After the three kingdom classification is given by, but for this Plantae and Animalia, some organisms are not described, because example Euglena, right? I already said to you in the yesterday class, so I am just recapping you all of you. So example Euglena exhibiting both photosynthetic and also it is exhibiting the heterotrophic nutrition also. So as it is exhibiting the plant characteristic feature as well as animal, because the Euglena doesn't have cell wall. Is animals have cell wall? No. The special feature of the animal cells is it does not contain the cell wall, as it is exhibiting both two characters. So it is not well explained to the several all over across the world organisms. So the next classification is given by three kingdom classification is given by Ernest Haeckel in 1866. He given the three kingdom classification, right? So but he does not provided the differentiation of unicellular and multicellular organisms. So he placed all unicellular organisms in the protista. So fungi also he kept in the protista. But fungi is of mainly they are multicellular organisms, but one in unicellular organism is yeast. But that too he placed fungi all group in the protista. So again the advanced system is make land into the scientific community which is accepted is that is four kingdom classification that is given by Copeland, that is given by Copeland in 1956. So he was the one, he first discovered that given that prokaryotes and eukaryotes, who made the first described by the Copeland. So by the advanced features, by the again adding up the complexity of the cell, complexity of the organisms and their modes of nutrition based on their evolutionary relationship, the most widely accepted classification is that is five kingdom classification. After that sixth kingdom classification is also came into lighten, but we only follow the five kingdom classification. So here the bacteria divided into two domains like archaebacteria and eukarya bacteria, archaebacteria and eubacteria. Then so it is given by the Carl Woese in 1990. Got it? So my most widely accepted classification is five kingdom classification, which is given by the Whittaker in 1969. Got it? So we discussed about the classifications, and so mainly the five kingdom classification is given basis on the complexity of the cell. If the cell is simple, we are considering it as the unicellular, that is unicellular organisms that is kept under the group of prokaryotes, right? So if it is multicellular organism, they are kept under the group of, if the cell is complex, based on the complexity, so they are divided into unicellular, all organisms are kept under the prokaryotes, and complex cell, complexity of the cell, they are placed eukaryotic cells into the they are given the eukaryotes as their complexity of the cell, they are divided into unicellular and multicellular organisms based on the complexity of the cell. So all organisms which are exhibiting eukaryotes, which are unicellular, they are kept under the group of protista. The unicellular simple single celled unicellular organisms are kept under the group of Monera, kept under given the kingdom of Monera. And eukaryotic, those which are exhibiting eukaryotes, which means they which means they have complex in nature, the cell having the complex in nature. So they are unicellular eukaryotes are kept under the kingdom of Protista. And eukaryotic multicellular organisms are again based on their complexity of the organism. Based on the complexity of organism, they are classified like with from without cell wall. So either we categorize like this, otherwise based on the modes of nutrition also we can categorize. So with cell wall are phototropic organisms, heterotrophic organisms, and without cell wall animals not exhibit cell wall. So they are kept under the another kingdom. So all having which are having the cell wall and they are multicellular. They are depending on other organisms for food. Mostly they are acting as a decomposers. They are kept under the kingdom of fungi. So they are kept under the kingdom of fungi. So those eukaryotic multicellular organisms which exhibiting phototrophic nutrition, which means they can prepare their own food. So they are kept under the kingdom of plantae. Based on this nature's complexity of the cell, complexity of the organism, they are categorized, and based on the modes of nutrition also. So this is how they are classified. So the first nature is complexity of the cell. The next is complexity of the organism. Then next it is categorized based on the modes of nutrition. Based on modes of nutrition. Modes of nutrition, otherwise they are categorized by the with cell wall or without cell wall. Got it? Okay, so first discussed about the unicellular organisms. What are the examples of the unicellular prokaryotes? That is bacteria. All simple unicellular single cell organisms are kept under the prokaryotes. Pro means primitive. Pro means primitive, which means old, and karyotic means nucleus. These are primitive organisms which are unicellular organisms which cannot seen with our naked eyes. They are kept under the kingdom named Monera. They are kept in the kingdom name called Monera. First we will discuss about this kingdom, first kingdom, that is Monera. So see here. Bacteria are sole members of this kingdom Monera, which means bacteria are unicell microorganisms, right? They are unicell microorganisms which mainly kept in the kingdom of Monera. Mainly kept in the kingdom of Monera. So they are abundant in nature. So they are abundant in nature, which means, can you imagine which there is no microorganisms not there, which we can say any place that does not exist microorganisms like bacteria? No, they are ubiquitous. They are mostly abundant in they are most abundantly found in everywhere, and bacteria is almost everywhere. They are extreme, they are surviving in high extreme conditions also and low extreme conditions also. Everywhere they can survive. So hundreds of bacteria are present in the handful of soil. If you take the handful of soil, there is a presence of more number of bacteria. More than 100 amounts of bacteria can be found, which means the abundant nature of the bacteria can be seen. So they also live in extreme habitats. Even in the extreme habitats, which means the hot springs, they can survive, desert regions, snow regions, and under the deep of the oceans, which sunlight cannot penetrate into the deep of the oceans, that places also the bacteria is found and they can survive. So many of them live in our other organisms as parasites also. So these bacteria they are maybe photosynthetic, which means they can prepare their own food. Otherwise they exhibiting the heterotrophic also, which means they are depending for food for the other organisms, depending on the other organisms for their survival. So they are mostly pathogenic also, which means they can harm to the both animals, humans, of every organism. Got it? So that is why they may, many of them live in other organisms as parasites, which means harmful to the many living organisms, and they cause diseases. They may be autotrophs. The best example is cyanobacteria. Heterotrophs, which means they are depending on other organisms for their survival, which means they have the useful bacteria also, which means the best example is lactobacillus bacteria, which helps in making of curd and preparation of antibiotics. The most bacteria is used, right? So, and harmful, many harmful diseases are caused by the bacteria. So many living organisms are also affecting by the bacteria. So see here, let's see the, so what cell, how the basic features of the cell, of the prokaryotes. They have cell wall, of course, because of the cell wall only the bacteria can survive extremely higher conditions, because of the cell wall, because of the cell wall. As they are the smallest organisms also, how they can survive in extreme conditions? Because of having the cell wall, because of having the cell wall. This much complex multicellular organisms affected by the bacteria, smallest bacteria which cannot be seen with our naked eyes. How it can be? Because it is surviving with the help of the cell wall. It is not allowing any other into their cell by the protection of the cell wall. Got it? So their respiration, which means they can produce the ATP as by the aerobic conditions also, as well as anaerobic conditions also. So they are producing the ATP with the help of the oxygen, without the help of the oxygen, in the absence of oxygen. So their movement occurs through flagella. How they are moving from one place to another, how the locomotion is happening with the help of the flagella. The exchange of nutrients taken by the gases by the diffusion. They are divided mostly archaebacteria, eubacteria. So see here, the first group of Monera includes, what are the, which includes how many types of bacteria. So this Monera kingdom includes archaebacteria, eubacteria, actinomycetes, mycoplasms. These are all come under the group of Monera kingdom. Let's see this. Based on the first we can see the, based on the shapes, how the bacteria are divided, how the prokaryotes are divided. So based on the shapes, if they are spherical in structure, we call them as coccus. We call them as coccus. If they are rod shaped, we call it as bacillus. We call it as bacillus. If they are spherical in shape, we call them as, coccus. If they are rod shaped, we call them as bacillus. If they are comma shaped, we call them as vibrio. And if they are spiral in shape, we call them as spirulinum. If they are two coccus are present, which means they are not singular, they are in plural. So we call them as cocci. Like that, bacillus, if they are rod shapes are there two, which means dry, they are called as bacilli. And see this, these are the coccus, these are the diplococcus. If they are more in number than the two, they are called as staphylococcus. If they are four, they are tetracoccus. Like that, based on the various shapes, they have the name. How many shapes of the bacteria? They are spherical, rod shaped, comma shaped and spiral shaped. Got it? So let's see the basic structure of the cell of the bacteria. So bacteria is very simple in structure, right? They are unicellular or prokaryotes, which means they have the cell wall, but they don't have any other cell organelles. They have except ribosomes. They have, although they have the simple structure and they does not have well defined nucleus. As they are prokaryotes, they doesn't have well defined nucleus, which means the nucleus is not under protected, which means if it is the cell, thus the genetic material is naked, it will not protected by any nuclear envelope, which means the nucleus is not well defined. But all multicellular organisms, which means eukaryotic cells, they have the genetic material is overlapped by the nuclear envelope. So see, bacterial structure is very simple, but they are complex in behavior and show metabolic diversity. So when it is infected the person, so see, when you are infected by any bacterial infection, so what you will get by the doctor prescription as the course. So what will happen? If they given 5 days of course, in the 2 days you will get fine. So then you will think that yeah, I am fine, I won't take the course. So you will just stop it in the taking of 2 tablets. What will happen? The cell wall of the bacteria get resistant over the chemical which you are taking in the form of tablet. So again it rebuilds its cell wall and again make you sick. So if you complete the course, the cell wall cannot perform the metabolic activity, then you will get okay. If not, if you are middle stopped the antibiotics which is prescribed by the doctor, then it will be effect because the cell wall is get resistant by the antibiotic you are taking. That is why if they prescribed antibiotics, you have to be complete the course. Got it? As they are simple in structure, they have the complex in behavior to control the metabolic diversity. Some bacteria are autotrophic, like as I said, the example of the cyanobacteria, which can prepare their own food, because they are having the pigment called chlorophyll. So some are they are obtained fruit from inorganic substances like nitrates, ammonia, like that. Majority are heterotrophs, as they are commercially exploited to us by the preparation of antibiotics, for the food preparation, everything. As compared to the beneficial side of the prokaryotes, they are having the more affecting animals, human beings, other organisms is more. So they are act as the heterotrophs as by the help in the decomposition also. But majority are affecting the animals, crops, human beings, everything. So this is what about the simple structure of the bacteria. Now let's see see this flow chart, then you'll make idea of it. So bacteria is of 2 types. What are they? They are Archaebacteria, Eubacteria. So especially we are discussing about these 2 bacteria, and this kingdom Monera includes Archaebacteria, Eubacteria, Mycoplasma, Actinomycetes, etc. But mainly we are discussing about the Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. These are single-celled unicellular organisms. They are single-celled unicellular organisms. So many groups come under such as Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. So what are Archaebacteria and what is Eubacteria? See, Archaebacteria. So they are how, what is a significant feature of this Archaebacteria is cell wall. The cell wall of the Archaebacteria consists of pseudomurine. Pseudomurine is the cell wall composition of the Archaebacteria. Because of that composition of the this cell wall, pseudomurine, and it is made up of polysaccharides and proteins. And the cell membrane is made up of branched lipids. As having this type of nature, the bacteria can survive in extreme high conditions of environment. See, if they are having the high salty conditions, the bacteria is surviving, those bacteria we call it as halophiles. If they are surviving high acidic in nature, those bacteria we call it as thermoacidophiles. If they are surviving in high pH, we call them as alkaliphiles. If they are surviving in high extreme temperatures, we call them as thermophiles. So if they are surviving in low extreme water regions also, we call it as xerophiles, which means the bacteria are surviving according to the environment because of the cell wall nature. So, and methanogens. Methanogens is the bacteria which mainly found in the ruminant animals' gut, like cows, buffaloes, like that. So thereby we can prepare the the production of the methane gas is produced. And first see this Archaebacteria, then we will look into the eubacteria. So as we seeing the first, the general features of the kingdom Monera, and then we learn about the simple structure, then we learn about the shapes of the bacteria, then we learned about the the structure of the bacteria. So now what are the groups involved in it we are studying. The first mainly you have to look into that is Archaebacteria. Say this, Archaebacteria. So they live in hardest habitats such as extreme environments like salty areas, we call it as halophiles, hot springs we call it as thermohydrophiles. If they are surviving in extreme low water regions, so low water places, we call them as xerophiles. Xerophiles, if they are present in high alkaline pH, we call them as alkaliphiles. If they are present in extreme high temperatures, we call them as thermophiles. So even in hot springs, even in salt areas, even in the snow, everywhere the bacteria is present because of this consisting of the cell wall nature. So the cell wall of the Archaebacteria is made up of pseudomurine. So the pseudomurine cell wall is actually it is a polysaccharides and made up of proteins. See, Archaebacteria having the cell wall structure in this survival of extreme extreme conditions. By the cell wall nature only they are surviving these all extreme environments. Got it? So see here. So methanogens are present in the gut of the ruminant animals like cows, buffaloes, etc. So they produce methane gas from the dung of these animals. So these are the halophiles, these are the thermohydrophiles, which means they are living in the high extreme acidic in nature environment. So these are methanogens which is present in the ruminant gut of the ruminant animals like cows, buffaloes and all that. That helps to produce the biogas from this dung of these animals. So let's see the eubacteria now. So eubacteria is of how many types? They are categorized into two types. What are they? Autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs and heterotrophs. And the autotrophs are, so the autotrophs are which can able to prepare their own food. So the best example is, 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute students. So eubacteria, autotrophs, which means they can prepare their own food. So those who can, those organisms which can prepare their own food is that is plants, because they are having the pigment called chlorophyll, right? So from the still 10th standard, 9th standard onwards we are studying that. Let's see here, autotrophs. So in these autotrophs they are divided into two types. Photosynthetic autotrophs, which means they have the pigment, so they are preparing their own food. And they are having the chemosynthetic autotrophs, which means they are surviving and taking as a food by the inorganic substances like nitrates, sulfur, ammonia, like that. They are mainly helps in the recycling of the nutrients like iron, sulfur, like that. So this eubacteria is of the heterotrophs also, which means depending on the other organisms for their survival. So they are parasitic in nature, which means they affect the living organisms like humans, cattle, plants, every living organism. And some are acts as decomposers too, which means they act on decaying the dead organic matter, so they are consuming the nutrients. So these are the types of eubacteria. Let's look into so we studied this Archaebacteria. Now let's see the eubacteria here. Coming to the eubacteria, these are all also called as true bacteria. In the what is the cell wall nature of the archaebacteria? That is pseudomyorine. So it is made up of polysaccharides plus proteins. They have the branch lipid, cell membrane is made up of branch lipids, right? Now see this eubacteria. It is a true bacteria because the cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. We all know that bacterial cell wall is made up of glycocalyx. So, but in that group of bacteria, which means Monera kingdom has archaebacteria, eubacteria, actinomycetes and mycoplasms. In that archaebacteria cell wall is made up of pseudomorine and eubacteria cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan. And the peptidoglycan is absent in the archaebacteria. Got it? Now see this eubacteria. So eubacteria is also called as true bacteria having the rigid cell wall called peptidoglycan. Called peptidoglycan. 1 minute. Okay. That is peptidoglycan. And they have the consisting of flagellum, which helps in the locomotion, which helps the movement, They include autotrophs. They are photosynthetic and the another type is chemosynthetic, which means they are depending on the food for the inorganic substance like ammonia, nitrate, sulfur, like that. And there are heterotrophs also. So let's see the first photosynthetic eubacteria. So the best example of the photosynthetic autotrophs is cyanobacteria. Is also called as blue-green algae. Algae. So they have the chlorophyll. What is the nature of they are preparing the considered as a photosynthetic autotrophs because they have the pigment called chlorophyll A. They have the pigment called chlorophyll A, which is similar to the green plants. That is why they are photosynthetic autotrophs. The best example is blue-green algae, which means cyanobacteria is also called as blue-green algae. So they are unicellular, they are single-cell organisms, and they have colonial, which means C. Sometimes they appear in the groups. Which means colonial forms. And some are filamentous, which means they are like this, filamentous forms. So they are mostly found in the marine regions and terrestrial algae, which means on the land. These colonies are generally surrounded by the gelatinous sheath. So see, this is the cyanobacteria, consider it is, and it is surrounded by this gelatinous sheath. Is surrounded by the 1 minute. Okay. This is surrounded by this gelatinous sheath. And these having the specialized structures called heterocysts in their compartments, which helps in the fixation of nitrogen. So in this compartment they have the specialized structures called heterocyst, which helps in fixation of nitrogen. For a DNA making up, everything, the nitrogen is very necessary, and mainly in the farm fields they mostly found. So as they are acting as a biofertilizer also, got it, because they are fixing the nitrogen to the soil. As they are required, they fix it, and their remaining is deposited into the soil. So thereby the land which will be rich in the nitrogen content. So the plants, the main nutrients, primary nutrients of the plants is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. So thereby the plants are taking the nitrogen for their requirement. Got it? Now see the next. So 1 minute. Okay. See, they have often, they mostly seen in the polluted water bodies as the blooms, and some of them fix nitrogen in the specialized cells called heterocysts. The best examples of the cyanobacteria photosynthetic autotrophs are nostoc and anemona. This nostoc mainly found in the farm regions, which mean the crop fields. So which helps in the fixation of the nitrogen to the soil. Got it? So now let's see the. So 1 minute, students. Okay. So 1 minute. So now let's see the chemosynthetic autotrophs. Chemosynthetic, the word itself, it is saying that it is taking the chemicals, right? So which means how they are taking? They are taking the inorganic chemicals only. So while you know, so these are oxidized inorganic substances like nitrates, nitrites, ammonia, which is mainly found in the decomposition. These chemosynthetic bacteria which taking as a food and thereby it is surviving. See, they oxidize inorganic substances. What are the inorganic substances? Nitrate, nitrates, nitrites, ammonia, and use this inorganic substances and it produces this energy in the form of ATP production. Got it? So they help in recycling in nutrients, mainly the nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and sulfur. It involves in the nutrient recycling process also. By utilizing this inorganic substances, they are preparing their own food. Got it? So the best examples is the green sulfur bacteria, purple sulfur bacteria and Venan Vibrio stagni spumantis. Got it? So this is about the chemosynthetic autotrophic bacteria. Now see the heterotrophic bacteria, which means heterotrophics, the word itself is saying that they are depending on the other organisms for the food. So it is having the both beneficial side and also harmful side. So harmful side is mostly these bacteria act as pathogens to getting harm to the animals, plants and also living organisms. So see heterotrophic bacteria mostly abundant in nature. They are commercially also more exploited because they helps in the production of antibiotics and all that, and majority there acts as decomposer also. They help in decomposition and many of them are significant impact on human affairs. So they helpful in making curd. So the bacteria which is used in making curd is lactobacillus bacteria. Lactobacillus bacteria and production of antibiotics, fixing of nitrogen and in roots. So we all know that nitrogen fixation happening in the root nodules of the plants like pea plants, right? Legume, and they are come under the group of Leguminaceae family, right? So some are pathogenous cause, they are also as they are heterotrophic. So majority acts as decomposers. Some are commercially important for production of antibiotics and also making of curd and everything. So they are human related also, and some mainly they are fixing in the nitrogen in the plants, thereby indirectly we are taking the plants as their food source. So thereby we are also rich in the nitrates. We all know that although the 78% of the environment is consisting of nitrogen, we are not able to take it as directly because we don't have that mechanism to take the nitrogen directly, right? So by this help of this bacteria, we are taking the nitrogen, right? So why the nitrogen is essential? Because of the making of amino acids, proteins, everything. So what are the major diseases are cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker, as well as many diseases we can say that are affecting to the living organisms. This is about the eubacteria and archaebacteria of the kingdom Monera. So next, so actinomycetes and mycoplasms are also there. Coming to the, let's see first the mycoplasms. So see this. So these have an exceptional case. As we know that biology is exceptional, so these are mainly performing the exceptional case because see this mycoplasm does not have cell wall. But the main feature of the prokaryotes are they are having the naked nucleus with covering of the cell wall, right? So but these mycoplasms are bacteria only, but they are not exhibiting the characteristic feature of cell wall. Mycoplasms are devoid of the cell wall. So they can change Why they are having, does not exhibiting the characteristic features, the cell wall? Why it is divide of cell wall? Because they can change the shape and size in the response of the environment. That we call it as a pleuromorphism. What is meant by pleuromorphism? They can change their shape and size according to the environment. That we call it as pleuromorphism. So these are the smallest living cells now and can survive without oxygen. They can survive without oxygen also. We all know that phototrophic phototrophic bacteria, which is come under the group of eubacteria, they are preparing their own food, which means they are exhibiting the characteristic feature of, which means they are releasing the oxygen as a byproduct, right? So here these mycoplasms does not requirement, these microorganisms, these mycoplasma bacteria does not require oxygen. So they are also exhibiting the pleuromorphism, which means according to the environment the response is the response of this cell is making, mycoplasma bacteria is making. That we called as pleuromorphism. So mycoplasms were previously known as the first, which means early they are known as pleuropneumonia like organisms. Pleuropneumonia like organisms. Pleuropneumonia like organisms. They also cause diseases. So these diseases are very important to remember, students. So witch's broom in plants, witch's broom in plants, and pleuropneumonia in cattle. Pleuropneumonia in cattle, which means farm animals. So mycoplasmal urethritis in humans. Mycoplasmal urethritis in humans. So these are the very important diseases you have to be remember. So for the MSET core also, these have to be remember for sure. They given as the match the following also. And coming to the what are the groups we are discussed till now? We discovered for in the Monera kingdom. 1 minute. In the Monera kingdom, we discussed about the archaebacteria, eubacteria, and now we discuss the mycoplasm, and then now we will discuss the actinomycetes. Actinomycetes. So we discussed based on their shape, how they are categorized, right? So and what is the true bacteria in the Monera kingdom? That is eubacteria, which is exhibiting the cell wall nature, which having the very rigid cell wall that is made up of peptidoglycan. And archaebacterial cell wall is made up of pseudomurine. Got it? So let's see the actinomycetes. So actinomycetes are branched. These bacteria are branched filamentous bacteria found in radiating colonies, which means they are radiating. You all know that they are emitting the light, radiating colonies. Why they are exhibiting the radiating colonies, radiation is why it is happening, because they contain mycolic acid. They contain, actinomycetes contain mycolic acid in their cell walls. Because of this mycolic acid in their cell wall, they are exhibiting the radiation. So that is why when they are found in groups, they are radiating the, they are showing the radiation. So because of this mycolic acid, they are mostly saprophytic. They are mostly, which means they are out of 100%, they are mostly exhibiting the saprophytic nature, and decomposes. Actinomycetes cell wall contains mycolic acid. This genus Streptomyces, which helps in the production of antibiotics for the human use. For the human use, this genus of actinomycetes consisting of Streptomyces, they produce the antibiotics. Got it? So we learned about the Monera kingdom, which involves 4 major groups, that archaebacteria, then eubacteria. They are the 2 groups which are mainly we have to know about it. Then we also discussed about the mycoplasm and also actinomycetes. So how they are reproducing? So that also you have to know, right, because they are ubiquitous in nature, which means they are surviving in every extreme conditions, which means they are reproducing itself its own kinds. So how they are reproducing itself by their own kinds, right? So the reproduction is happening by the, mainly happen by the fission, which comes under the asexual mode of reproduction, which exhibiting asexual mode of reproduction, which means the kingdom Monera mostly exhibit the, they are mostly exhibit the asexual mode of reproduction, that is binary fission. So under unfavorable conditions, it performs the spore formation and sexual reproduction. It is not true sexual reproduction. This is not true sexual reproduction. This is not true sexual reproduction. So they mostly exhibit the binary fission. What is meant by binary fission? If it is the bacteria, see, if it is the bacteria, so under favorable conditions, what will happen? So under favorable conditions, so these bacteria become twice in amount. So if this is the bacterial cell, so under favorable conditions it becomes the twice in amount. So it will become the twice in amount, and then copy its genetic material, and it and itself it is divided into two daughter cells, and itself it is divided into two daughter cells. So under favorable conditions it becomes twice in amount, then it is make a copy of its own genetic material, and itself it is divided into two daughter cells. So mostly the bacteria exhibit the binary fission only. This process is called fission. So otherwise in unfavorable conditions it exhibits the spore formation. So unfavorable conditions, they form the spores, and they can reproduce its own kinds. Coming to the sexual reproduction, it's not true sexual reproduction, which means, see, this is the bacteria. If it is the bacteria, see, if it is a bacteria, if it is another bacteria, so through they form, extends it forms, and transfer its genetic materials. This process called conjugation. This process called conjugation. This process called conjugation. So this is how the reproduction happens in the bacteria, which means in the kingdom of Monera. Now see, I will explain in this image. It is very clear. See students, this is, so here it is the binary fission which happens in the bacteria. 1 minute. So see this. This is the bacteria cell. So under favorable conditions, what will happen? It becomes the twice in amount, and then it copies its genetic material and divided into two daughter cells. So bacteria reproduce mainly by the fission. Under unfavorable conditions, see, when the conditions are not favorable towards the bacteria, then it produces spores. They also reproduce sort of sexual reproduction. It is not true sexual reproduction, and their DNA transfer one bacteria to other through the pilus. This process is called conjugation. This is about the first kingdom of Monera. So now let's see the second most very important for the IPE, that is Protista. So Protista is the kingdom which is you have to be focused, because it is for the boards it is very important. So for this kingdom of Protista you will get having the 3 questions in your IPE IPE core. So in this chapter total 4 questions are there. Out of 4 questions you definitely get 1 in your examination of your public examination for sure. In that 3 out of 4, 3 questions are following this come under this kingdom of Protista. So this Protista, There also first the term protista is first coined by the Ernest Haeckel. First the term protista is coined by the Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel. So this protista, which is linked between the group of fungi, plantae and animalia. It is a link between the both three kingdoms called fungi, plantae and also animalia. So these are also called as ancestors of the eukaryotic multicellular animals, because they have these cells, these protista kingdom belonging to the unicellular eukaryotes, which means they doesn't have cell wall, that is why this protista group also considered as the ancestor for the multicellular eukaryotes, especially for the animal kingdom. Got it? The kingdom protista includes single cell eukaryotes, which means unicellular unicellular eukaryotes, which having the which are representing the well defined nucleus, membrane bound organelles are present in the eukaryotes. Those are all kept under the kingdom protista, which includes single cell eukaryotes. And aquatic, they mostly found in the habitat of the aquatic system. So they mostly found in the aquatic habitat and common members in the protista. Mostly they chose the live in the place of aquatic regions. So protista produces zygote. They produce zygote during cell fusion or sexual reproduction. And under favorable conditions it exhibits the asexual mode of reproduction only, but in unfavorable conditions it exhibits the sexual mode of reproduction. Got it? So now let's see this. So kingdom protista, which means they have single cell eukaryotes which having the well defined nucleus, cell membrane bound organelles, right? So all the algae which are unicellular algae is placed under the group of protista. So we all know that they are the primary producers in aquatic ecosystem. The unicellular algae named Calamidomonas, Pyrogera, they are placed in the kingdom protista because they are unicellular eukaryotes. And they have true nucleus, which means why they call it true nucleus, because if it is a cell, the genetic material is enclosed by the nuclear envelope. That means they have true nucleus. In the kingdom Monera, they are not included as the true nucleus because the nucleus is naked and bounded by the nuclear membrane. They move by cilia, which means the locomotion happens by the cilia or flagella. They have cilia, or like you know that. So the flagella means they are having long whip-like structures, and cilia means if they are having the just like this. These are the cilia. They are not that much long as flagella. Got it? Now see, respiration, which means production of ATP can both aerobic as well as anaerobic. In the presence of oxygen, in the absence of oxygen also, production of ATP is occurring. Similarly, reproduction, coming to its reproduction, can be sexual as well as asexual. Mostly they prefer asexual modes of reproduction, but sometimes they are also exhibit sexual mode of reproduction. They are divided into this class of protista includes chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, protozoans. In the kingdom of Monera, includes they are divided into archaebacteria, eubacteria, mycoplasms, actinomycetes, etc. Right? Likewise, kingdom protista are also divided into chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, slime molds, and protozoans. In these IPE boards for you, the chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and euglenoids, these are three questions where you have to be remember very carefully. So out of the from this chapter, there you have to get you have to read 4 questions compulsory. In that 3 questions are chrysophytes, dinoflagellates, and euglenoids. Got it? So remaining part we will discuss tomorrow, students. So I hope you this session is very useful for you. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section. And before winding up the class, I would like to announce you students very important news for you. So here we are started the next batch is going to start from the 15th August. If you are really passionate about your dream, this is the best platform for you students. So if you want to see yourself doctor and really determined, you will a hard worker, this is the best platform for you. If you want demo classes, also plenty are available in the YouTube channel, and if you have any further queries, please let me know by this number. In the down scrolling number is there, thereby you can contact with us. Otherwise, you can comment in the comment section, then we'll reach you out. So what are the benefits you will get? You will get live plus recording sessions, and if you for online, because for online it is very much affordable fee for just rupees 3,333 per month. You will get live plus recording sessions. Along with that, well crafted study material is also providing, and also one-on-one mentorship is provided by the expert faculty, by doubt clearing sessions, and by with the daily DPPs and cumulative assessments and formative tests. So this you will get you will nowhere get this type of offer, and with you can check it out our demo classes which are plenty available in the YouTube also. And if you want to join through offline, you can come to our institute name called NEET World, present in Narayanaguda, Hyderabad. If for further queries, you can contact by the down scrolling number, then will reach you out. So this is about our information. It will be soon, the offer will be ended by soon students. If you are really passionate, then you can contact us. So this is Narayani, thank you.